The last speaker is Tom Johnstone. Tom is the retired SKF CEO. He was born in Scotland, as you all know, in 1955, married with 3 children. He has a Master of Arts degree from the University of Glasgow. He has an honorary doctorate in business administration from the University of South Carolina, and an honorary doctorate in science from Cranfield University in the UK. Tom joined SKF in 1977, the same year Matsubara-san joined NSK, and has held several management positions within SKF, including Executive Vice President and President of the Automotive Division. He was appointed President and CEO of SKF in April 2003. During his tenure, SKF has evolved into a knowledge engineering company, which enables customers to profit from more than 100 years of accumulated application expertise. He has also successfully advanced initiatives to integrate sustainability into the company's long-term strategy and performances, for instance, by launching Beyond Zero, which is SKF's leading performance in sustainability, which is recognized globally with the inclusion in the Dow Jones Sustainability Indexes since 2000 and the FTSE4Good Index Series since 2001, or ever since those indices were introduced. In 2006, he was given the first European Six Sigma Leadership Award for his work in committing the company to continuous improvements, setting a strong example for Europe and the world. In 2008, Tom received the Swedish Royal Order Polar Star for his personal services to Sweden and Swedish interests. In 2009, he was selected Europe's best CEO in the engineering and machinery sector in a yearly investors ranking. In 2013, Tom was imported to the Leader of the Year 2013 by the Swedish Business magazine, and you got me there, Tom, but I'll butcher it, but it's called Affars Varelden. I'm sure that you're all subscribers, so it doesn't really matter. Most importantly, Tom is a New York Rangers fan, which I found out the other day. We've met each other twice in the gym. We're in there early morning. So without any further ado, please welcome Tom.
So good morning, everybody. So good morning, everybody. Good morning. Thank you. It's great to be here. It's great to have the opportunity to be at BSA and have a chance to say a few words to you. 77, the same year we joined the bearing industry. Actually, I was not going to join the bearing industry at all. I was going to be a mathematics teacher. I trained after my degree to be a mathematics teacher, but decided the way they were going to teach mathematics I thought was not the right way going forward, so I decided to join SKF instead. Actually, what happened, just talking about relationships, what happened in that a few years ago, my daughter, who's now nearly 16, she was doing maths homework one evening, and so I was working with her doing her maths homework, and she was showing the way to do it, and I said, no, that's not the way. You know, I'll show you the quick way to do it. So I showed her the way to do it. She went into the class next day, said to the teacher said, your answer's right, but the way I'm doing it's wrong. It's the wrong way. My dad says your way is stupid. which being chairman of the school didn't really enamour me to the teacher in the school there. Yeah, I joined SKF. I joined SKF in Scotland. Actually, my first job was working with distributors. There I stayed there for a year and a half. Then I went international with SKF for the first ever time, moving to England. That is a big move for a Scotsman. My dad told me at the time, sorry Steve, I've got to say this. My dad told me at the time, when I moved from Scotland to England, I raised the average intelligence in both countries. But having said that, I worked in the UK for 10 years, then I've been working internationally with the SKF Group for 27 years, nearly 28 years before I stepped down at the end of last year. I share many of views you have on cultures around the world. But I decided, looking at this, I want to answer the questions that Brian gave us, but I decided also that during the 2 days there'll be a lot of things on relationships, so I wouldn't try to regurgitate many of the things there. I'll say a few words on relationships, but I also want to spend something that's very close to my heart, which is what I'll talk about being the fourth industrial revolution, because that's fundamentally going to change our business there. So I want to spend some time in that. But first of all, a few words for me on relationships there. They are critical. They are critical to our business. I could see that here. When I look at what you're doing here, building relationships, I thought it's fantastic what I see. This is really a living example of what relationships are all about. I actually, preparing for the meeting, I pulled out lots of pictures of my career in SKF, and especially the time I had working with distributors. You know, I've been to many distributor meetings around the world, abseiling down buildings in Uruguay, going in elephants into a distributor meeting in Thailand, riding bikes in the Giro d'Italia for the European distributors. Having said that, I've got to say, a picture of me in a bicycle outfit is really not a pretty sight. So therefore, I decided not to put that picture in. But actually seeing the pictures I've seen here the last few days, there's a few of them I really could have put in here as well, because they actually stand up. I thought they were too horrible to show, but they stand up with a lot of good pictures here. Drinking with distributors in Asia, or with customers in Asia. I've got a little technique to solve things for your kidneys and liver. So let me talk a little bit later. I give you a secret how to solve that. And anybody else wants to buy me a drink, I'll give them the secret as well. Relationships, though, to me, are built on two fundaments. First and foremost, it's on trust. Trust is the foundation in which you build relationships on. And trust is not something you're given. It's something that you must earn as an individual. And you earn it through the actions, not through the words. It's trust that you can get very quickly, but you can lose it very, very quickly as well. And to me, through my career, I've worked hard always to try and build the trust up, and also to try and deliver on what we promise. And I think we all do that in our business. So trust to me is the first foundation of good relationships. The second foundation is value. Delivering real value to one another. So both of you win out of that, or both of you feel successful out of that relationship there. Value to me actually is a word that's starting to get a little bit diluted, because many times we talk about we need to do value selling, value-based selling, justify the value to our customers. But many times what we're trying to do with value is justify the price we want to charge a customer. Where actually what we should be talking about is just the value should be there, and the price should be a result of the value, not the value a result of the price there as well. So focusing on value is very, very important for us as well. So to me, trust and value are the two key elements of relationships. But there's one guiding light I've followed, which is important in business, but also important in leadership and working with people. And that is that you should treat others the way you wish to be treated yourself. And that applies in business-to-business relationships, but it also applies in personal relationships. I've found if you follow that, wherever you are in the world, wherever you operate, treating others the way you wish to be treated yourself, then you will have a strong relationship, especially with the pillars of trust and value. Will relationships change going forward? Yes, they will change. I think they will be changed by technology, but they will still be very, very important. So I'd like to move away a little bit on relationships and talk into something that really is, for me, critical for the manufacturing industry. And that is the fourth industrial revolution. It's got many names around the world. It could be the Internet of Things. It could be big data. It could be Industry 4.0 there. But what's happening in the fourth industrial revolution is fundamentally going to change manufacturing going forward, which is going to change our suppliers, our customers, and our business. I started studying this quite a bit in SKF in the last 2-3 years. And since I've left SKF, I'm now chairman of a small company that's focusing on what we can do in this area to facilitate the fourth industrial revolution. Not to get involved so much in it, but to facilitate it from a software viewpoint. Trying to build something between the cloud and between the apps that people will use or the tools that people will use to do it. And there's quite some challenges there. But let me talk through what is the fourth industrial revolution. How does the fourth industrial revolution come? Well, first of all, what have been the various industrial revolutions? We all remember the first one with the steam engine. Actually, the Scots claim a lot of credit for the first steam engine under James Watt. We didn't invent the first steam engine. We claim it a lot in a lot of books of that. We didn't invent it. But we did, what James Watt did do, is use the steam engine to move into rotary motion, which helped in the first industrial revolution. The second one, of course, was mass production assembly line. The third came in the 70s. And that in the 70s was really the move into automation, robotics, etc. And now we move into the fourth industrial revolution, which is digital connectivity, which I believe, as I said, will fundamentally change our customers, our business in the next 5-10 years, and will be critical for us in our relationship to be successful in working in that area. I looked at that and said, is the next industrial revolution really starting? Yeah. Go back and look at these figures. First of all, 27 years. It was 27 years from the time Steve Jobs first thought of an iPad and first talked about what an iPad would be till an iPad came. In 1983, he presented and he talked about having a book, everybody having a book that would be connected to computers, to the internet, as a means for you to get access to information. 27 years later came the iPad. In 4 years, tablet devices, not just iPad, tablet devices, smart devices, were able to overtake in the consumer market personal PCs. In the next 5 years, I believe, and from the studies I've looked at, both here in America and in Europe, digital connectivity, the use of smart devices, is fundamentally going to change our industrial business. It's going to be that fast a change that we're going to see coming. I spent some time talking to people about this and what's happening, and I talked to Ericsson, who have also got a major role to play in that. And I said to Ericsson, so what's happening in this world? What's really going to come through? And they showed me the 5 major market trends that's coming, where media services, from a personal viewpoint, people are going to be looking at TV, or let's say or at videos, at films, etc., not on TVs anymore, but on smart devices. That's going to be a huge expansion that's going to take place there. The digital connectivity is going to change the business world, and I'll come back to that a little bit. It's also going to move into monetization through online, and it's already there just now, especially in the consumer area as well. So there's a lot of important trends. They also shared with me some data on smartphone, smart device subscriptions, the expectation. If you look at this year, you've got something around 3 billion, or last year 3 billion, smart device subscriptions. It's going to more than double in the next 5 years. And of course, a lot of that's going to be in the consumer area as new nations come in. But it's not only in the consumer area. It's also going to come very much in the industrial arena. And I think that's critical for us to harness that and use that and drive that going forward there. This is quite an amazing expansion. I happened to be at a conference in Washington a few weeks ago, and Eric Schmidt of Google was the lunchtime speaker. And he came out some weeks ago and said, or some months ago and said, he thought the World Wide Web would be dead. You wouldn't need that there. He explained, he said, that's not what he meant. He meant it will become so available to you everywhere you go. It will be like air and water and broadband connection. It'll just become a natural way of your life, that everything you do will be run through these devices there. He actually made an important assessment there with the hotel management who were there. He said, you know, it's amazing. You come to a hotel, a big hotel like this, and what do? They charge you for broadband access. They don't charge you for the water in the room. So why should they charge you for broadband access in your room? And that will change going forward. And the expansion will be quite dramatic there. So if we look at that, what are the elements of the fourth industrial revolution? And what will it impact, and how will it impact our business, I think, and how will it impact manufacturing? Because I don't just talk about the bearing business, I talk about manufacturing there. The first area is going to be the value chain. From customer to supplier, all the way through, is going to be digitalized. It's going to be transparent completely. It's going to reduce capital tied up in the business quite dramatically as it's fully connected and integrated all the way through. That's going to change the roles we play, the way we play, and the transparency that's needed for us in business to work and be successful. By harnessing that, we can be very successful, but it's going to make a fundamental change. It's going to improve availability, it's going to change flexibility in manufacturing, improve service level, and all of that with tying up less inventory. And just imagine if we tie up much less inventory around about what it's going to mean to all the physical assets that we've got in the manufacturing area. Already I can see in some businesses, when we were working in SKF, there was work with end users where they were opening up complete transparency through end users, distributors to SKF to take out inventory in the chain and improve service level. The second big thing that's going to happen with digital connectivity is products and services are going to become even smarter. There's going to be a sensor in everything, but a sensor not just to be reactive by giving you information out, but to be a proactive, integral part of the equipment. And that's where I think a huge opportunity for us in this business, the bearing business, because bearings will no longer just be the heart of the machine. They'll also be an integral part of the brain of a machine, helping adapt and adjust the equipment performance in a fundamentally different way. The third area, it's going to open up for new business models. We've talked a lot about remote monitoring, performance management, etc. But there's going to be a change in what we do. We listened yesterday to 3D printing. We listened to what additive manufacturing will do to our business. That's going to change the business model from a manufacturing viewpoint, not only for us, but for our customers and our suppliers. And then last but not least, it's going to make some of the skills we need to have, distributors need to have, manufacturers need to have, to analyze on-time data, real-time data, and respond to it and adjust it in a different way. These are four critical areas of the fourth industrial revolution that is coming, and that is going to have an impact in the next 5-10 years, and a positive impact, I think, on our business. If I look at it, and I've took some examples back from my SKF days, but I've also looked into what it means in the studies I've made with the manufacturing industry. By using smart devices in manufacturing, by bringing information to our people, by opening up the value chain, we're going to see a fundamental change in efficiency in the factories and less stress on our people, less stress on our employees. In Europe, a study has been made that says with the investment being made in digital connectivity over the next 5 years, the expected productivity improvement is 20% from today, just by employing digital connectivity into the business and bringing that knowledge to the people. Secondly, if you look at the people handling customers, working with customers, your salespeople, your internal salespeople, the road warriors, the people doing the job there as well, by bringing knowledge to the fingertips to them, they're able to answer the customer immediately. Everything's moving much faster. So saying to a customer or to a distributor that I'll get you the answer tomorrow or the day after isn't enough. And it could be technical information, it could be commercial information. Look at the product assortment we're all doing. Look at the technology that's changing. It's not possible for our salespeople to be experts in all of this. But by using digital connectivity, we can give them access online immediately to expertise in that area. Here also is an efficiency improvement. We published this in SKF before I left, that we, in the study we did, saw a 12% efficiency improvement in our salespeople, in our frontline people, using digital connectivity. And then the third area is at customers. One device doing the work of many there. Not having different devices for monitoring and having one device. And having one device that is their personal device plus their work tool as well. So a lot of changes are coming here when we look at what's happening in the big industrial revolutions. Now, is it a given that that will come in the next 5 years? No, there's a few things that we need to work on. What are some of the challenges that we face in bringing the opportunity of that to reality? And I mean we, I mean not just the bearing industry, I mean we in manufacturing face. First of all, in this area, there's a complete lack of standards. What sort of protocol should be used? How should it be used? Should it be closed source? Should it be open source protocol? What sort of protocol are we going to use? That is not defined yet and will be defined there. Another key element is actually for us in manufacturing, there's lack of qualified employees. I think here in USA, I saw statistics from the North American Manufacturers Association that said something like 600,000 employees are missing today from a skills app. Just imagine what there'll be with the new technology that's coming forward. But that's a huge opportunity as well, to bring in the Generation Y into us much, much sooner there. It was quite interesting to see yesterday how many of us, I'm already partly retired, but how many of us will retire in the next few years and what that will fundamentally mean for our industry. But this, with the new technology, will be a great opportunity for us as well. Big concern is on security, cloud security. How do we protect data if everything's online, if everything's available? How do we protect our intellectual property? It was interesting coming over here a couple of days ago. There was a movie on the plane and I saw a bit of it actually on this IP protection, and it was actually in data protection. And it was showing how hackers can just click into any computer, hack into any computer and use it to manipulate the stock market, futures, change business. This is a key area that's one of the challenges still that's being addressed there as well. And the needs, there's high investment needs in that because we need to roll out this technology to our people, but it's a great opportunity. With the high investment needs, it has been very difficult to define business cases. Many people I've spoken to in industry who've already taken this step, when I asked them, how did you justify your investment in this? They said, we didn't. We thought it was right. We thought it was the right thing for us to do, but we couldn't do the normal rate of return calculation, which our CFO was screaming for. You know, every time you try to invest in something, say, what's the rate of return and how do I follow up, etc. This was things that people were doing because their stomach said it was the right thing to do. And why is it difficult to define the business case? Because it's going to disrupt our business. And change is never easy. I was told a long time ago, the only person that likes change is a baby with a wet diaper. It is uncomfortable change, but it's something we need to work on there as well. But with the challenges, there's the flip side. There's the opportunities, increased efficiency and lower cost for us. We'll improve the flexibility in our business and give better service to the marketplace. We will be able to improve quality and particularly important traceability, which will help us further in counteracting counterfeiting there. It will increase transparency across the value chain, reducing capital employed in their business. It will drive a much, much faster and better product and service development. Why? Because you will base that on real data from the equipment, not on calculations there as well. I think the move that industry is now making and manufacturers is now making into this will attract the youth of today much more. It is tough when I go to talk to universities to get people to say, do you want to come into engineering? There still is a perception it's oily and greasy, etc. It isn't. This will attract the youth of today as well. And very importantly, increase sales. Give you a couple of statistics there. In Europe, back to Europe, and looking at the analysis of the fourth industrial revolution in Europe, a study that was made by PwC, and it estimated that over the next 5 years, European industry will spend 140 billion euros roughly 3% of revenues on investing in digitalisation. But it also said that the sales increase they expect over the next 5 years is 150 billion, which is a fantastic growth. And you're talking 2-3% growth on top of the normal business development there. So for me, what I think is exciting is the digital fourth industrial revolution is coming. And there's many articles, you can read it if you want, get economists, get time. There's a lot written about it. The problem is, it's not so clear. Whilst you look at the areas you're working on, it's not so clear exactly what that means. It's coming, but it's a little bit cloudy out there. But for me, it's critical that we in the industry, and we in the bearing industry, which is still, even though I'm in the process of leaving it to a degree, although I'll become a customer of it with the boards I'm sitting in, the bearing industry is still close to my heart. This is something I think we must together grasp the opportunity. Because if you look at it, the train is leaving. And the question is, are you on it? Or more importantly, are we on that train? And I think it's critical that we are on that train because it's coming and someone's going to make the change in this industry. And I believe we, manufacturers and distributors together, should shape this change rather than be shaped from external. Because being shaped from external has happened in many other industries. The largest single taxi company in the world doesn't own any vehicles. Uber. The largest hotel accommodation provider in the world doesn't own any hotels. Airbnb. The most valuable retailer in the world doesn't have any inventory at all. Alibaba. There's people coming from the outside that are changing the business there. Let us be the ones that change this business. And kind of full circle back. Does that change relationships? I share your views, Rich. It doesn't change. It will change some of the content, but relationships will be even more important. Going back to my 16-year-old daughter, she buys everything online. I struggle to that. She buys clothes and everything online. I need to go and try them on and feel good. She's quite comfortable to buy them online. At the moment, she's buying 5 dresses at the moment. Why? Because she's got 5 events to go to. And I say, but you can wear the same dress to 2. No, you can't, because my friends might see me in the same dress, so I need 5 dresses there. But she's buying them online, and she's buying them from companies where she trusts them from a quality viewpoint. She trusts them that they'll deliver when they say they will deliver, and she sees she'll get good value for money. So even in the digital revolution, trust and value in relationships are so important. And I think that's a great opportunity and a great challenge for us. And I think we as manufacturers and distributors need to grasp that opportunity and shape the future rather than be shaped by it. Thank you very much indeed.